Welcome to LawEasy. My name's Marty Shenkman. I'm joined by Michael Richmond, Managing Director of the DAC Group. Welcome, Michael. And we're going to talk about how do you determine a realistic value for your business. You may need to determine a value for your business for estate planning, if you're going to sell it to a third party, for a buy-sell with a partner. Correct. Any other?
I mean, most of the time it has to do with a third-party transaction, Marty, where you really want to understand the value if you're approached by a prospective buyer, really to determine if you want to invest more in your business or sell your business.
So what are some of the factors, and just for the bigger picture, if you're doing estate planning, buy-sell agreements for succession planning, if your end game is getting out of your business, your end game, and you'll talk a little about it, could be a myriad of different variations of just getting out and how you structure it. So that planning all requires is really a prerequisite. What's the value of the business? So what are some of the determinations of value? What are some of the things you want to think about, especially if you're looking to sell a business, a family business, closed sale business to a third party, independent people?
Well, Marty, many people don't really know the value of their business. Many will underestimate their business, and some will underestimate the value of the business. And in both cases, they leave a lot of value on the table. And if it's overvalued, you think, well, what could be so bad about that? A lot of times they'll be presented opportunities. They may be approached with a good opportunity to sell their business, and they won't take it. And similarly, of course, if they undervalue the business, very often they're selling and leaving, chunks of dollars on the table. So, we advise all our clients before they do anything to get a realistic value of their business. Now, you could probably ask, well, how do you do that? Or what are the mistakes that people do? I
was hoping you were going to make an offer for my practice. Don't laugh on camera.
We could talk about it later. Very often owners make a mistake of looking just at their earnings as the basis of the valuation. And, they make a couple of mistakes. For one thing, their earnings might not be a true reflection of what the company's really earning. What I mean by that, they may take excessive salaries. They may take certain business expenses. Can
I interrupt you?
Don't talk
just
about
it. No, it's okay. But for the record, none of my clients take any personal expenses on any of their businesses. So you're going to start with really whatever their book earnings are. And adjust it.
Correct. So the first thing we need to do is look at adjusted earnings. That's
the phrase I've heard is normalized earnings?
Correct. Normalized or adjusted earnings. Then you also want to look at the quality of those earnings as well.
What do you mean by quality?
So quality, do you have one customer that's too much of your business, 20%, 30%, 40% of the business, and if you lost that customer, it would have a significant negative valuation on your business? Is your business diversified? Do you have particular intellectual property that isn't reflected in the value of your business? Are you in a market like the New York market, which is very tough to penetrate, which many buyers, both nationally and internationally, want to enter?
We just had that with a client that foreign companies in their niche market wanted to buy them for large multiples because it was so hard to establish a footprint, if that's the right word, to get your foot into the door in this area, in this market, that they got a premium because it gave a launching pad for these other companies.
Absolutely, Marty. And so what we advise our clients, yes, let's start with earnings, let's look at a multiple, but let's see what else is there. What other value your business has in determining the value of the business? One
of the things you taught me about, which I think is worth commenting on, is a strategic value when we have a strategic buyer versus
private equity or financial buyer.
Maybe just comment a little on that.
Oh, sure. Buyers are looking to take your business to the next level. And when you're looking to sell your company, you shouldn't look at it at the perspective of what the business is valued to you, but really, what's the value to the buyer? Do you have intellectual property, a market niche, something that they really want? We had a company client that had relationships with all the Department of Transportation offices, the DOT offices throughout the country. And the buyer wanted to sell product. They basically wanted to sell concrete. Our buyer our client was a seller of road striping. So you would think we would sell it to a paint company. We ended up selling it to a company completely out of their industry. Why? They wanted to get into that space, and they wanted the intellectual property of this company. In this case, the intellectual property was not software or a product; it was relationships.
Interesting. Any last comments on what people should consider in getting the value of their company? And also, who should they get to give them values? Because most business owners don't have the skill set to determine a value. They really should be looking. Is it their accountant? Is it an outside investment firm? Who should they be talking to?
We suggest going beyond the accountant, because an accountant can give a valuation based on the numbers, but I think you need somebody who has experience with a valuation based on market conditions. That's number one. And number two, so I think you should speak to an investment banker, somebody familiar with selling companies. And number two, it's not the gross value of the business, but it's the net after taxes. So I do think you want to speak to tax advisors like yourself, quite frankly, to give you ability to protect those hard-earned proceeds.
So if you're looking to do estate planning, succession planning, if you need a buy-sell arrangement between you and your partners, co-owners, if you're looking to sell your business, and we're going to talk in some of the other clips, it's not selling meaning I get a check and I walk away. There's many different variations. Correct. Whatever your end game may be, and it may not be the very end game, it could be a middle end game.
Sure, absolutely.
You got to get the right value determined for your business. I hope that this helped. As with all the video clips, this is for educational purposes only. Please do not take any action without consulting with your advisors. Thank you for joining us, and thank you, Michael.
Marty, thank you.